What's up, my friends? Welcome to the Chop Shop. My name is Benny. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this week's episode. Listen, I want to just shout out to everyone who has sent me some encouraging messages, some comments, some likes, just some encouragement, some affirmation from last week's episode. I got to tell you, and I shared a little bit about this during the week. I didn't plan on sharing that on last week's episode. I planned on sharing it eventually, but not on last week's episode. And you can kind of see in my conversation with my wife on last week's episode how it kind of there came a point where I was just like, I'm just going to talk about this now. Like, why wait? And so when we finished recording the episode, I kind of told Ruthie, I was like, man, okay, well, I guess we'll see. I didn't plan on it. I don't feel like I feel like I could have communicated better. Could have explained things better, could have told the story better. But I told my wife, I was like, but I mean, it came out, I shared it the best I could in the moment. I hope that people can see, that I felt the moment was right to share it and wanted to just be honest and vulnerable. And so I hope people could look past me maybe stumbling on my words, although I do that a little bit. But the amount of feedback I've gotten this last week, and not just like people who've said something, even people who haven't said anything, the amount of views the video got, the amount of podcast downloads we got this week, has been amazing for me. Huge encouragement, just pushing me and encouraging me as my neighbors slam their door. That's crazy. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for just, leaving a message and saying, hey man, this is awesome. Or, yo, like, I appreciate you being honest. Or even people who I don't even know, strangers just saying, this is awesome. Like, God is good. Like, and even people reaching out and saying, hey man, like, I've had a similar experience. Like, can you just talk me through what you've gone through? I mean, it's been amazing. And this is why I wanted to do this podcast. Was I have a heart for people. I want to help people in any way that I can. And I felt this was, for me in this moment, in this season, the best way I could do that was by sharing my story, being vulnerable about, fathering and being a husband, but then sharing last week, like, hey, this is a mistake I made in life. And yeah, I regret it. And I wish I never did it. It happened though. And so I have to, live with that. But also, living from victory, living from overcoming that through Jesus. And I wanted to share that hope that regardless of where you're at in your life, if you feel like you have no hope and the day is dark and you feel alone, know that there is always hope in Jesus. He can forgive you. He can free you. He can give you a new life, and you can find yourself in light and out of the darkness. And it is all found in Jesus Christ. And I wanted to share that message with whoever would listen. And it seems like a lot of people listen. And so, again, just thank you guys so much. It really did a lot for me as I was nervous. But I'm so glad that I just shared it and got it out there. And I'm really excited about where this podcast is going. Like, this is what I wanted it to be. I wanted the Chop Shop to be a place where we have real, honest conversations. Like, yeah, we have some funny ones too, and they'll make you laugh because life will make you laugh. Like, there's moments in life you laugh, but there's also moments in life you cry and you're sad and you're heartbroken. But there's also ones that you're happy and you're glad and you laugh and you cry from laughter. So it's everything together. This is a place where I want to have those conversations about those moments, what that does to somebody, how that pushes somebody forward. How can that, or how something can destroy somebody's life, or how something is out there trying to destroy somebody's life. These are all things that I want to talk about in this podcast. So again, thank you so much for you guys who have watched it. If you haven't, go back and watch it, go back and listen to it. But everyone that has and has left a comment, just giving me some encouragement. Like, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for doing that. This week, I sent out a post on my Instagram page, Benny's Chop Shop. Oh my gosh, I forgot it again. I think it's Benny's Chop Shop _pod is the Instagram page. Man, I'm so bad at that. I don't know why I'm so bad at that. It's kind of hard for me to remember Instagram handles. So if you go to Benny's Chop Shop _pod, that's my Instagram page. That's where I posted, and I said, hey, if you have a question, and I use the anonymous. I use the anonymous app and link, so you can ask your question. I wouldn't know who you were, and I got tons of questions back. Some of them good questions, some of them funny, silly questions, but I got some questions back, and I wanted to take the next few minutes to just kind of go through these and talk and share. Wanted to answer your guys' questions. I love doing this because, again, this podcast is a conversation. I want it to be a conversation, and even if it's a silly question, and there were some silly ones, let me tell you. So let me read this first one as I take a sip of my nice cold water. First question: introvert or extrovert? I am an extrovert with introvert tendencies. Does that make sense? I'm an extrovert with introvert tendencies. What I mean by that is I'm an extrovert. I can talk to people. I do talk to people. I can be outgoing. I can be I'm not the life of the party. I'm not the center of attention, but I can definitely be a part of the attention. You know what I mean? So I'm not the guy that's going to be in the middle of the dance floor doing the dance moves to get a crack at everybody. But I'll be the guy instigating the guy to go do that, so, but my introvert tendencies, like when I go into a new group of people that I've never really spent time with or a new place, I tend to withdraw myself, like not be as vocal or as as outgoing, just to get a feel of the room, get a feel of the people, get a feel of just to get a feel. I mean, honestly, I don't like awkwardness. I don't like doing something and then feeling like it wasn't appropriate or like it was like kind of out of left field. So I like to kind of get a feel of people and feel of the room before I like insert myself in conversations and insert myself, like who I am and stuff. And so I'm an extrovert, but I have introvert tendencies. And my wife would agree that I'm an extrovert, especially like in our relationship. She's way more introverted than I am. So she would say, no, you're an extrovert. You make friends, which is funny to see ourselves in our kids. So like my son Abel is an extrovert all the way. He's great at making friends, has no problem talking to new people. In fact, when we go in the store, we're walking around, he'll just say hi to strangers. He's like, hi, how's your day? And he'll just like ask them how their day is going. It's like, bro, you don't even know him. He's like, yeah, but I wanted to ask him. I wanted to know them, So Abel is an extrovert for sure. Next question. How do you and your wife keep intimacy and safeguard your marriage with a third baby in the mix and lots of responsibilities with work, church, extended family, friends, and your 2 boys? So how do we keep our intimacy and safeguard our marriage? Well, here's the good thing, okay? My wife and I have a great community here. We have a great family. We have great friends. We have a great church community. Our boys are great. Our baby is great. We've purposely put ourselves in a great community so it limits how many things are actually but how many things have a potential of ruining or messing up our intimacy or our marriage. See, now I understand you can't pick your family, so not everyone is going to be like, oh, well, my family's great too. I understand that some people, their family's a little bit more complicated. And it's not to say that like our families aren't complicated at all. It's just to say we have great family. We do. We have great family. They want the best for us. But our friends and like what we do week in and week out, like what we say yes to, like church, T-ball, small groups, hangouts with our friends, the friends that we choose. It's all good stuff. So like for instance, my friends that I hang out with, these are guys that are mostly married, but even if they're not married, they understand the importance of marriage. They understand that, no, dude, your wife is a priority. Yeah, yeah, it's time to go home. Or yeah, I get it. You can't hang out because your wife is a priority. Your family's a priority. Like, and then small groups. Like, well, those are things that are just going to help me in loving my wife and my family more. So we've surrounded ourselves purposely with things that aren't going to be aren't trying to really pull us apart, but push us together. So that's the first thing: is what kind of friends do you have? What kind of things do you do during the week? Are you doing things that are pushing you towards loving your significant other, or are you doing things that are providing opportunities to drive you away from your significant other? I mean, that's kind of what it is. So for us, that's a big thing. When it comes to like keeping our intimacy, like those are things that my wife and I are constantly talking about. Like, hey, like taking more time to be together, to talk, to have those moments together. Like how do we to have those special moments together, if you know what I mean? So like those are things that we talk about, and how do we do that? When can we do that? Right. Like, so those are conversations that her and I have together. But again, the big thing is like, we do a lot of things that even when we're not together, we're doing things that are promoting and telling us to be together and to love each other even more. You know what I mean? So that's a big thing, is who you surround yourself. Again, family, I get it. You can't pick your family, but you can definitely pick your friends, and you can definitely pick what you do week in and week out. So think about those things. Next question. What is your biggest fear? Okay. Biggest fear is that I don't make an impact. So growing up in a church, growing up as seeing my grandfather plant I didn't see him actually plant the church, but seeing him as a pastor of the church, seeing my family involved in ministry, uncles who are pastors, myself being involved in ministry, being a youth pastor. Like, okay, so like, as you can see, as I was a kid through my adolescence, I have the vision in my mind and in my heart. I'm going to make a difference. I feel that I'm being called to ministry. I felt that I was called to be a pastor. And so in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to make a big impact. Right? And then, like I mentioned, in 2019, I messed up. I broke trust. I broke my wife's trust, right? I cheated. I was unfaithful. Infidelity. And I understood, even after my wife and I, were making steps to restore our marriage, to reconcile, I understood I might as well just kiss that idea goodbye, because that's probably not going to happen now, right? Because I made the mistake. Here are the consequences. Here are the and that's fair. Here are the things that, right? So that's probably going to be off the table now. And so in my mind, especially when I'm overthinking things, in my mind, one of the biggest fears is you're not going to make that impact anymore. You're not going to make that same impact anymore. You're not going to make a difference like you thought you would. And I can sit here and tell you, that's the enemy. That's not God telling me that. That's for sure. But it's a fear. It's a voice of fear that I sometimes will listen to. In saying that, I know that God uses, things that I don't think he uses about me to make a difference, to make an impact. Because it's not really me doing it. It's God, It's not my ministry. It's God's, right? Like this podcast, I mean, yes, it's me, but it's not mine. If you listen to this podcast, if you're watching this podcast, you know that what I'm talking about here is the Bible. It's about my relationship with Jesus. So it's not really about me. It's not my ideas. These are God ideas. But I know that God uses things that I'm involved in to make a difference. I think if anything, when doubt comes in, like, man, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? I feel like maybe there's more. Maybe there's not. Maybe this is just the way it's supposed to be now because I messed up. There's that voice of fear that comes in and says, you're not going to make the same difference. You're not going to make a difference. You're not going to make an impact. You might make a little impact, but you're not going to make the impact that you thought you were going to do. So that's just me being honest. That's my biggest fear. Just me not making an impact, not making a difference. Okay, next question. Okay, here's some fun ones. And this is good because I think this is going to be... Yeah, here's some fun questions. All right. First fun question here. Let's see. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Oh, no, I did that one. Okay. Would you rather deal with a baby blowout up the back and into the car seat? That's a lot of detail, by the way. You must have just gone through that. That's why you put this. Would you rather deal with the baby blowout up the back and into the car seat, or a toddler poops on the living room carpet? Okay. This has to be a parent that has really seen some days. It's gone through a lot of hard trials. I think I'd rather do is the toddler poop like solid poop, or is it like not solid at all? Because that makes a difference too. Listen, there's no doubt a baby blowout up the back, especially when they're in the car seat, is the Lord blesses you with a child, a beautiful angel, a beautiful baby angel. And when a baby blows out up the back and in the car seat, you look and you go, this is not of God. This is not of the Lord. This is not the gift that I was promised. This is something else. Baby blowouts are a mess. Like, they are crazy to like, be like, Dahlia had a couple blowouts this week. And I had to clean up one of them. So because of that, I'm going to say toddler poop on the living room carpet. Neither of my, well, no, I'm not going to say that. We've had some poop on the carpet before. But yeah, I think I'm still going to say toddler poop on the carpet, because baby blowouts are no joke, you guys. I'm not joking. If you don't have kids, just wait. And when your baby does a blowout up the back and in the car seat, I want you to go to my Instagram page, Benny's Chop Shop _pod. And I want you to tell me, you're right. It is not of the Lord. Would you rather explain... Oh, this is a good one. Would you rather explain periods to your sons or erections to your daughter? Periods to my sons, please. All day long. Rather do that. I'd rather be in a conversation and pretend to know what I'm talking about than be in a conversation I know what I'm talking about, but do not feel like the other person should know what I'm talking about. That's just coming from me, because I don't even want to think about having those type of conversations with my daughter. So I'm going to say periods to my sons. But most likely they're going to ask their mom about that one. Okay. What superpower do you want? It's a good one. So there's like speed, there's strength, there's flying, there's what? What are some like other like generalized superpowers, right? Like the Hulk is strength, right? But Thor is the god of thunder, so he has lightning and a hammer, but he's strong. I think I'm going to go with flying. I think flying would be amazing. You know what I mean? Like, flying would be crazy cool. Like, to think that I could at any moment just, Ruthie's like, hey babe, can you go get some milk from the store? Yeah, no problem. Let me just fly. and just like go off the air and just go. Do you guys know how many places I can go in a matter of minutes and like go somewhere and visit and come right back and it not be that much time, you know? Like so here's the thing. I'm hopefully planning on going on a trip to Israel this year. I'm praying, talk to my wife. Okay, let's get this money together so I can do this thing, because I've always wanted to do it. I've always wanted to go. My grandfather, my grandmother went when I was a teenager, and I remember my grandfather just being over the moon about it. And remember, my grandfather is a historian. He loves history. He knows his Bible. So for him, it was just like Disneyland for him, So, but ever since then, I'm like, man, I would really like to go. And even more so as we gotten older, I'm like, I would love to go. Well, there's this opportunity to possibly go. So I'm hopefully going to Israel later in the year. So, but imagine if I could fly. Like I can just get up and I can just fly. And I could be there within a matter of a couple hours, opposed to, I don't know, like 12, 14 hours or something like that on a flight. Like, wouldn't that be amazing? I'm going to have to choose flying. Flying, superpower for sure. Next question. What's a talent you wish you had? Singing. I wish I could sing. Yeah. So I have an ear. I'm a musician. I play bass. So I have an ear. I can harmonize. But I wish I could actually sing, like, hey, everyone move aside. Let Benny do his thing. Benny's going to lead this song. Hey, Benny's going to sing on this track or whatever. Like, I wish I could sing, I wish I could hold it down. I'm trying to think of voices. Like, who would I want to sound like? I don't know who I'd want to sound like, honestly, right now. But I know I'd want to sing. I definitely would want to sing. And sing like really good. If I could sing, my Instagram page, my TikTok page would be me all singing. This podcast would be nothing but me singing everything. So yeah. Next question. Besides Spanish, English, and tongues, what other language would you choose to speak fluently? Well, I don't speak Spanish fluently. I wish I did. My wife does. I honestly try to brush up and try to get better with my Spanish. And so I'm still kind of growing in that area. But what other language? I'm going to have to say, the first one comes in my head is French. But I think, the one that I think I would want to learn first is Portuguese. I think I want to learn Portuguese first. I know there's a lot of similarities with Spanish. So maybe that's a little cheat. Maybe that's cheating. Is that cheating? If I say Portuguese, it's like, bro, it's like, I mean, sure, but it sounds a lot like Spanish. Okay, then French. I think I want to learn French. I think that would be awesome. I also went to Denmark, and the language they speak there is, what do they speak there in Denmark? Is it Dutch? It might be Dutch. Gosh, I look so bad right now trying to figure out what they speak. Anyway, French though. I think French is what I would want to learn what to speak. Because I think it's just so cool. I think it sounds so cool. Like, and yeah, it just sounds so cool, and it's so different. It's different than Spanish and English. So I think it'd be cool. Next question: who do you text the most? Well, my wife. Definitely, I text my wife the most. But if there's going to be a rival, and there, honestly, guys, it probably is a rival there. And I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to explain it because it's kind of like Fight Club. The other person or persons I text the most is the homies chat. So it's what it is. It's what it is. Let's see, next question. Have you ever gotten in a fist fight? Yes, in high school. I think it was sophomore or junior year. It was a Friday night football game there at our school, and a guy wanted to keep pushing me, and I was really trying to avoid it. I really was. I was not trying to give him the light of day, and he just kept pushing me. And then that moment in fights where all of your quote unquote friends and the people around you start looking at you like, oh no, man, now you have to fight this dude. You have to do it. Right. And you get that peer pressure. That's what happened. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to fight this guy because I want you guys to like me. I want you guys to be my friends. So I fought this guy. I'd like to think that I won. I think I won. But I did talk to a guy afterwards and he's like, no, bro, you guys tied. It was a tie. And I was like, no way, dude. I'm pretty sure I won that one. I was on top, like swinging pretty good. And he's like, yeah, but he got some shots in when he was on top too. So I was like, oh shoot. Well, it was years ago, so who cares now? And just so you know, even though I got away that night, no one caught me. Monday at school, I got called in the office and I got suspended. So I did end up getting caught. So yeah. Let's see. Let's do one more question. These are good, by the way. Thank you guys so much for sending in questions. I always enjoy this. Some of you guys are funny. Let's see. Which one should we do next? Here we go. This is a little bit inside baseball, but I'll explain as I answer this. Okay, the question is, you have to dress like one of them for the rest of your life. Which one do you pick, Joe Bonilla or JR? These two guys are two of my bestest friends, two guys I've known for a long time. Two different guys, different styles of clothing. So let me kind of shed a light a little bit of what I understand. I'm not a fashion expert or guy that's in touch with fashion or trends or anything. I'm just going to tell you what I get from both of them. So Joe, a little bit older guy. Joe always got a ball cap on for the most part. He's got a beard. Joe's beard is on point. And Joe's got more of like a casual. Joe can dress up like the best of them. He's got the suits, but he's more of a, casual button up with jeans, with a ball cap on, and maybe a puffy jacket he'll wear. But he always knows how to tie everything together with his shoes. Joe's shoe game is on point. He's got the Jordans, the he's a sneakerhead, so he's got all the nice Jordans, or he's got nice Jordans. He's got a great shoe collection, so he knows how to tie it all together. JR is a little bit, I don't know how to explain, or like what word would be like, oh, this is his style. But JR's got like two different types, because JR's type of work is a little bit more like, labor intensive. He's a driver, but he also works on cars. So like sometimes I see him and he's wearing like clothes that he doesn't mind getting dirty. But when JR, is going out somewhere, whether that be to church or a family function, he's sometimes has a ball cap on as well. It's a snapback. It's on backwards. He's got the head for it. So, but sometimes he's not. Sometimes he has his hair combed back. JR, because JR is in great shape, right? JR hits the gym every single week, and you can see the results. So like JR's clothes are a little bit more fitted to his body. And so JR like usually will have on like some kind of like long sleeve shirt, with some black, jeans, and he'll have like casual shoes, except JR doesn't do sneakers. JR does more like Vans, like skater. I wouldn't say skater, but like a van type shoe. But because he's got a smaller frame, I feel like, have you guys ever been to stores, like for us guys who are a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, if you will, and you're like, oh, that's a nice shirt. I wonder if they have my size, and all they have is mediums and larges, and you're like, dude, I'm a double X, but all they ever have is the larges and mediums. Or like go to a store and it's like, oh, here's an extra large, but really it's like more of a large. JR is the guy who will go to every store and find all the nice shirts because they fit him, because he's got a smaller frame. So he doesn't dress fancy, he just dresses nice. Like it's a nice like casual look. And again, because he's a smaller frame Everything is fitted. He looks good in it. So after I've been talking about these two guys who most of you are like, I don't know who he's talking about, but who would I rather dress like if I had to pick one for the rest of my life? I'm going to have to say Joe solely because of the shoes. Again, Joe's shoe collection is on point. I'm not a sneakerhead. I don't own shoes like that. I don't have sneakers like that. Literally my pair of shoes that I really wear the most are my Doc Martens. Ask anybody. I love those boots, by the way. My Doc Martens are amazing, comfortable. I'll wear them everywhere and anywhere. And any of the other casual shoes I have are more like, I got some like Pumas that pretty much just like slip on. And then other than that, it's just like workout shoes. So, but if I were to inherit Joe's like shoe collection, that would be amazing. Joe and I are different size shoes though, so I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but this question's asking me, which one would you rather dress like? I would say Joe, the shoes. Again, Joe dresses nice and he wears a ball cap and I enjoy wearing ball caps. But man, the shoes, you just can't deny it. They're nice shoes. But JR looks great. You look great, bro. You look great. You go to the gym. It shows. You get all the mediums and larges, dude. You can go to Ross and find all the mediums and larges. And the rest of us bigger guys have to like squeeze into an XL when it really is more of a large. So, okay. Let's see. One more. Let's do one more. Let's do one more question. Let's see. Do we have another one? Do we have another one? I'm looking. We do have one more. Would you rather golf with Mikey or Pastor Chad? Okay. Mikey is one of the pastors on the lead team at the church. And then Pastor Chad is our lead pastor at the Promise Center. Shout out to the Promise Center. Easter coming up. We got 7 services. You can join us. Either ones. We'll be there. Who would you rather golf with, Mikey or Pastor Chad? Okay. It's a great question. Well, let me say this first. I don't golf. I'm not a golfer. I think I went to the driving range once in my life and never really hit the golfing course. So, I don't know if golf would be the activity of choice for me because I'm not a golfer. I wouldn't know what to do. I play baseball, so I feel like there's a lot of bad habits if I wanted to try and do golf. But it never really interests me. Golf didn't really interest me at all. There's a lot of guys at the church. That's what they do. It's what they like doing. I've been asked a couple times, do you want to go? And I'm like, I don't really golf though. And that's because I ain't trying to go out there and look dumb. I'm not trying to go out there and look horrible. And so golf would not be the thing that I would choose. But if I had to choose, if it was golfing, I would choose between Mikey and Pastor Chad. I would say Pastor Chad only because Mikey is one of my good friends, and bro, we can go do something else. Let's go do something that we're both good at, like eating. Let's go eat In-N-Out. Let's go eat some tacos. We can both eat. Let's do that. And hey, I've had a couple meals with Pastor Chad, so I know, hey, Pastor Chad, let's go do something we're both good at. Let's go eat. We can go, or we can play softball or basketball. Although I'm not great at basketball either, but at least I feel comfortable enough to play. So, but for this question, I would rather go for Pastor Chad than Mikey, only because, hey, Pastor Chad's inviting you to come golf. You're gonna go golf, right? I'm gonna go buy a glove. I'm going to go look like I think I know what I'm doing, even though I don't. That's just me being honest. Hey, guys, thank you so much for sending in these questions again. I enjoy these episodes because I feel like, you're showing me, some of your personality and I'm showing you some of mine. And I enjoy connecting with you and just kind of having fun with these questions. And again, man, thank you so much for all the support. I really, really do appreciate it. And do me a favor. We're on YouTube now. Go to Benny's Chop Shop Podcast on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. or go watch the videos, hit the like button, share it with a friend. But we're on YouTube now, and we're starting to get the video from the episodes, posting them on YouTube, doing the full episodes, and then we're doing clips as well. Trying to boost up the YouTube channel. Would really like the podcast to kind of like that be the home for the podcast. It's going to keep being audio as well for like Apple and Spotify too, and then eventually maybe even do videos on Spotify. But we have the YouTube channel up now, so go to YouTube, Benny's Chop Shop Podcast, and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. We have 130 subscribers on there now, and I want to keep growing. Let's get to 200, and let's keep growing that channel. That's kind of the goal. Is would love to build up that channel as I'm trying to post more content up there, clips of the podcast, full episodes of the podcast, and then maybe some other fun type of content that maybe you guys want to see. But I want this place to be a place where we can have honest conversations, and be able to talk about all these different areas of our lives, our families, fatherhood, marriage, relationships, and of course, God, our relationship with God, church, and how that all plays into everything else that we do in our work, in our families, in our relationships. It's so important that we put God in the center of all of those things, because it does work all together. Putting God in the center helps everything else. And so I want this podcast and the channel to be about that, to encourage you guys to take that step of faith, to trust in Jesus, to find that hope in Jesus, because there is no better way. So guys, thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode. I love you guys. Until next time, peace out.